Jason Aldean is getting reaction for the video of his tune, Not in a Humble Community, which pundits are saying is bigoted, that versus bigoted verses and pictures. You simply need to understand that when you make it about people of color matter individuals, sort of say, well, are you discussing individuals of color? What are you referring to here? Aldean documents slander suit against Whoopi Goldberg. And the things that Whoopi Goldberg and most of them were making up about Jason Aldean. And the melody attempt that in a modest community you would feel that they'd never pay attention to the tune music. For quite a long time, Whoopi Goldberg has delighted in popularity, and regard yet as of late her dubious suppositions are making all in all a mix among fans. And the public a couple of days prior Whoopi imparted her insight on country vocalist Jason Aldean's new tune calling it bigot. Yet Jason differs, truth be told. He isn't prepared to allow this discourtesy to go unaddressed as an ever-increasing number of big names embarrass her. Whoopi is currently at last losing her cool. What has gone down among Whoopi and Jason? And how can individuals respond to it? We should figure out. We'll attempt that in a modest community. Jason Aldean delivered another tune, as of late named attempt that in a modest community, the tune has turned into Aldean's greatest hit on the pop diagrams, and his most memorable #1 on the nation graph, starting around 2014. Yet the melody isn't without contention. In spite of its notable run, the tune has separated individuals. Certain individuals, including Whoopi, think the tune is a supportive of lynching him and hostile to dark. You need to understand that when you make it about people of color matter individuals, sort of say, well, are you discussing individuals of color? What are you referring to? Whoopi talked about the new tune on her show The View and had nothing good to say regarding Jason's tune. The music video had cuts from fights that Whoopi disagreed with. He discusses life in a modest community, and it's unique. And he picked these pictures. He has people from the people of color matter development, and he's discussing individuals dealing with one another. And I find it so fascinating that it never happened to Jason or the journalists that is the thing these people were doing. They were dealing with individuals in their town, since they could have done without what they saw. She proceeded to say that Jason's perception was completely off base. There was no differentiation of the sort among little and enormous towns, and that individuals assisted each other at any rate, very much like you. With discussing individuals dealing with one another in modest communities, we do exactly the same thing in large towns. You need to understand that when you make it about people of color matter individuals, sort of say, well, are you discussing individuals of color? What are you referring to here? For reasons unknown, Whoopi has taken a ton of offense over the way that Jason involved cuts from the BLM development for his music video. Jason Aldean is getting kickback, yet the video of his melody, not in an unassuming community, which pundits are saying is ISIS, that versus bigoted verses and pictures. Jason immediately took to Twitter to make sense of his side of the story, and he totally denied any such allegations of prejudice from Whoopi in his tweet. He wrote in the Beyond 24 Hours, I have been blamed for delivering a favorable to lynching melody, a tune that has been out since May, and was dependent upon the examination that I direct statement was not excessively satisfied with the cross-country people of color matter fights. While I can attempt to regard others to have their own translation of a melody with music, this one goes excessively far. When Whoopi caught wind of the tweet, she multiplied down on her underlying response and said, does it go excessively far? You've gone excessively far, appears as though Jason was very wounded by Whoopi's allegations. And one tweet wasn't sufficient to communicate his displeasure. He then brought her up again in one of his exhibitions and drove sure Whoopi knew how crazy he was at her assertions. Adidas Netflix to Starbucks Barbie will be in the View. Devotees of Jason Aldean are likewise rushing virtual entertainment destinations to remain by their #1 vocalist as the two clash in their conflict. Some Twitter clients think Whoopi has proactively caused sufficient harm through her perspectives. and that she ought to be prohibited from television forever. One individual, straightforwardly composed Whoopi Goldberg, ought to be restricted from TV. Someone else thought Whoopi involves competition to regurgitate disdainful remarks as a component of a race plan. He composed she's on a show that has a race plan, and she plays it big time. Drop the entire thing. Not stunned. The ABC, Disney, ESPN. Whoopi could have felt that she was onto something when she raised her complaints, yet turns out individuals don't actually concur with her position by any stretch of the imagination. As a matter of fact, certain individuals even accept that Whoopi has gone excessively far, this time in demolishing an honest craftsman's standing. There are reports that Jason has chosen to sue. Will be in the View for her assertion in regards to the Toon reports surfaced on a news webpage called the Dunning-Kruger Times that Jason Aldean is suing Whoopi Goldberg for $40 million after she essentially called him bigoted on The View. The first report proceeds to express that at one time Whoopi had gone into a jam-packed theater and yelled fire. The first report guaranteed that Whoopi yelled fire in a jam-packed theater. It proceeded to say that Jason Aldean's lawyer, Joe Barron, said that Whoopi needs to pay for her scheme reports. Have it that Whoopi isn't stressed by any means over the claim, since she has confidence in her entitlement to free discourse. Individuals accept this claim would be vital, as an erroneous decision could obliterate the standing of one of the gatherings. Included. One of them tweeted Jason Aldean documents maligning suit against Whoopi Goldberg and The View, as well as a suit against CMT. How about we see the court rule on authorial purpose versus what I heard in re-criticism, controlling mistakenly could place the nail into the casket of genuine free discourse. Since the gossipy tidbits about Jason suing Whoopi are circumventing, fans are communicating their euphoria at this most recent advancement. Some of even think the show is dumb for getting Whoopi on it in any case, and giving her a stage one fan composed better believe it. I might want to see The View lose cash for being moronic. This isn't the initial time Whoopi's viewpoints on prejudice has brought up issues very much like Jason's video. Whoopi dismissed the way that the Holocaust was about race. Ben Shapiro taunted her for itself and claimed that Whoopi finds everybody bigot aside from Hitler. We should hear Whoopi Goldberg make sense of why everybody on the planet is bigoted with the exception of Hitler. Obviously, the Holocaust isn't about race. In this stunning meeting, she suggested the Holocaust didn't have anything to do with race. We should be honest, the Holocaust isn't about race. It's not. It's about man's savagery. To man that it's about. These are two gatherings of white individuals. You're overlooking what's really important. How about we discuss it for what it truly is? It's about how individuals treat each other. It's an issue. It doesn't make any difference assuming you're dark or white Jews. Everyone eats each other. This caused a gigantic reaction from individuals all around the world. The Holocaust actually stays perhaps of the haziest period in history, and race is supposed to be one of the main parts of the discussion in regards to Hitler's strategies. Yet Whoopi totally dismissed this perspective. When she was stood up to about this, she multiplied down and again expressed that prejudice didn't have anything to do with Hitler's violations. It wasn't initially about race. Recall who they were killing first. They were not killing racial, they were killing genuinely. They were killing individuals they viewed as intellectually blemished, and afterward, they pursued this choice. Fortunately, Whoopi later acknowledged how wrong she had been and apologized for her quiet remarks in her explanation. In regards to the debate, she said, "It was never my expectation to show up as though I was multiplying down on destructive remarks, particularly subsequent to conversing with and hearing individuals like rabbis and old and new companions making an appearance. I'm actually gaining tons of useful knowledge. And accept me, I heard all that everybody told me. I accept that the Holocaust was about race. And I'm still as sorry now as I was then that I upset, hurt, and rankled individuals around then." Whoopi was suspended from The View as she had heard the opinions of millions of individuals all over the planet individuals were enraged over Whoopi's uncaring proclamation. One individual composed Hitler thought Jews were a race. That is the only thing that is in any way important. It's not Whoopi's place to decide Hitler's aim. And she should be rebuffed just as much as, definitely, she can't play the race card. This time, the head of ABC News suspended her for a long time and expressed, while Whoopi has apologized, I've requested that she require some investment to reflect and find out about the effect of her remarks. The whole ABC News Association remains in fortitude with our Jewish partner associations, companions, family, and networks, tragically. It seems like Whoopi didn't truly gain proficiency with her example on bigotry. After all, as per fans online this time again, she has been totally oblivious. As she would see it on bigotry, what's more regrettable is that this time another craftsman is involved. Straightforwardly, fans are bringing up how this disaster with Jason isn't whenever Whoopi first has ventured forward with her tricky comments. One fan composed Whoopi is a bigoted herself. Recall her assertion about the Holocaust foot and mouth. She has the right to get sued. Go Jason. What will be the end for Jason and Whoopi's question? No one but time can tell, except for what's sure is that this time Whoopi has most certainly hit a few nerves. That is all there is to it for now, people. Until next time, farewell.